Hello friends, Tanya here for Trinity Stamps, and today we're going to play with the Brushstroke Bunnies stamp set. I'm pulling out some oldies but goodies. This is the Bed of Roses layered stencil. This is a 6x9 layering stencil that came out a couple of years ago and I love it. We're going to use Saltwater Taffy, Lumberjack Plaid, and Kitsch Flamingo. These are all distress oxides and all of them are available in the Trinity store. There's some of the newer colors. We're going to use those to create kind of a blend or a gradient of color across these flowers. And I thought it felt kind of Valentine-y if you wanted to take this card that way. This card or these cards could be many different occasions. Just depends on what sentiment you put on it. It could be an Easter card, a birthday card, a thank you card, and in this case it's going to be hopping into the new year. I am taking the second layer of this stencil set and we're going to use some mold lawn, and I'm just going to apply that over the entire piece. We're only going to use one green here. You could add a second green if you wanted to add some depth to the color. And then the last part that we're going to do, we're going to put that flower stencil back over our stenciled background, and then we're going to pull out a product that is also in the Trinity Stamp store. It is Cosmic Shimmer Lunar Paste or Luna Paste, and this is the Midnight Paste. No, Moonlight Paste. And it's this beautiful shimmery white paste that goes on super smooth. This is a really light and creamy blend, or excuse me, paste. It goes on so easy. I just love it. Going to cover the entire background. I did miss one little spot, but that's okay. We're going to trim this down into 2 card fronts and we don't have to use that little piece. Now I'm going to set this aside to dry while I do the rest of the components for this card. Here are the Brushstroke Bunnies. There are 5 bunnies and 3 sentiments in this stamp set. There is a Happy New Year, Easter, and 2023. There's lots of ways you can use those sentiments for this stamp set. Even if you had some graduation cards that you wanted to actually put the year of graduation on, this would work for that also. It's a pretty low price point. I think it's like $8. I could be wrong, but it will definitely be linked in the description box below. I've also stamped Happy New Year a couple of times with some clear embossing ink, and I sprinkled some gold embossing powder over the top of that, and we're going to heat set that. And there we go. I think gold goes with just about everything. We also have the Distress watercolor pencils in the Trinity shop, and I finally got my hands on them. I'm going to use them on this plain cardstock, and this is a pretty light color that I'm using. I just wanted something to give the bunnies a little bit of a creamy color to them. So this is antique linen, and I'm coloring over the entire bunny, and I will come back with an aqua pen, and you could use, or an aqua brush. You could use just a paintbrush with a little bit of water, but I don't have any water at my desk right now. So I use the aqua pen or aqua brush. I'm going to use another method to apply the color here by picking up the color directly from the watercolor pencil. And I'm using that to apply the color. It's a little bolder this way, and that is a Kitsch Flamingo Distress Watercolor Pencil. Next, I'm going to separate these and then fussy cut each of the bunnies. There are not coordinating dies for this stamp set. And you could use your Brother Scan and Cut, but these do not have completely enclosed shapes, so that might be a difficulty. I did want to add a little bit of sparkle to make these match the rest of the card. So I have my Sparkle Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen. And I am also going to pull out a bunch of layering die sets here. This is the Mini-Slimline Stitched Layers. And I have the second from smallest, and that works perfectly to die cut our sentiment. I do like a stitched edge, and I really like the way that coordinates with the rest of the feel of this card. I do have 2 of them, and I did cut 2 of them out. Now I want a circle to go behind our bunny. So I've brought out the Kitsch Flamingo and the Saltwater Taffy Distress Oxide inks again. And I did just re-ink my ink pads between the time I did the stencil and when I did this sponging. And I tell you, freshly re-inked ink pads are a dream. Just love it. They blended so beautifully. Now I'm going to take the Modern Embossed Circle Stack, and this is the 3rd from the smallest. And this is the 2nd from smallest of the Dainty Scallop Circle dies. These came out a couple of months ago. They're gorgeous. So I cut shimmery white cardstock and the colored cardstock. And now I'm going to use the Modern Embossed Rectangle Stack. Now this is the A2 size. I use the A7 size all the time. Not doing that today because we're making A2 size cards. This is the 3rd from largest size, and I am going to layer that directly onto an A2 sized card base, and I'm going to start assembling these cards. There are 2 of them, and I did use 2 different pinks. I wasn't sure which one I was going to like better between the Saltwater Taffy and the Kitsch Flamingo. I think they both go very well. Now the Cosmic Shimmer paste in Moonlight, it really did mute those colors quite a bit. You would think that Lumberjack Plaid would have been super red, but it looks just like a deep pink underneath the paste. I do want to add a little bunny on the inside, so I've got the one sitting up in the corner. And I have our jumping bunny or our leaping bunny on the front. We're going to repeat this entire process on a second card. I did add a little bit of extra dimension behind the Dainty Scallop circle, not behind the circle that layers on top. It is nice to know that these circles layer together well. This is just a little higher than centered, and I think I like that a lot. I don't know about you, but some years I do not get my Christmas cards out when I would want them to. So the new year rolls around, and I still want to send cards to everyone, but it feels kind of silly to send them Christmas cards. That's when you pull out some other cards. Sometimes you're just sending a, hey, thinking of you this time of year card. And it's a good time to add or use some of your Happy New Year type of cards. I think these turned out super cute. Tell me if you have ever decided to send not Christmas cards to everyone. Maybe I'm not alone. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please take a moment to do that now. Check that description box below for all of the supplies that I used today. And here are a couple more videos I thought you might enjoy. Until next time, bye-bye.